Hello there guys, and welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Histon. And coming up in today's video, we have got a home match against Kidderminster in the league. But before we get into that game, let's take you through what's been happening since you were last with us, which was all the way back with this 1-0 defeat away against Rugby. As you can see, overall, despite that defeat, the form has been absolutely impeccable, with only one draw in the 7 games that we've played off camera. So we bounced back immediately with a 2-0 victory at home to Braintree. No real problems here. George Thomas and Lyle Taylor with both goals. Bob's your uncle, Sam Joel with both assists. Really good performance. And we bounced back in a really good manner after the disappointing result against Rugby. So all good there. We then followed that up with another victory, this time 3-0 at home against Solihull Moors. Lyle Taylor scoring 2 goals again, and Shane Lovells also scoring in between those 2 goals. Solihull Moors didn't really create much. Lyle Taylor getting player of the match. They also picked up an injury, unfortunately, for them, but it's one of those things after 19 minutes, which is a bit of a harsh on them. But overall, we deserved to win the game, and we came out with 3 points, which was fantastic. And we then followed that up with a 4-1 demolition of FC United in Manchester. So, if you guys remember, right at the start of the season, they beat us 2-1 on our own patch. We then went to their place and won convincingly 4-1. They've been really struggling this season. Lyle Taylor with another 2 goals. George Thomas also scoring twice. But unfortunately, there was a couple of bad moments that did happen in this game. That was Josh Smiley, who came on. I think it was either his first or second appearance for the team, but ended up getting sent off following a second bookable offence. It was actually his first start for the club, I think. I think he already came off the bench in a previous match. And also Rakeem Harper again scoring he scored in the last game against us. And remember, he used to play. He's now on loan from West Brom. For those, the guy that mentioned that's how I knew him. He's actually now gone out on loan somewhere. I can't remember off the top of my head where exactly, but I do remember he did go out on loan. But the other bad news is that Adrian Morford, one of our young prospects, has picked up an injury. He's out with a broken foot for 3 to 4 months. It's from the date of where we're playing this match. It was out for a little bit longer than what was estimated straight away. But really bad news, because that was a depth player that we definitely needed to fill in at a couple of positions if players went down with injuries, etc. So that was the only downside of that result and the 4-1 victory. And then followed that up with a 1-1 draw against Clitheroe. Also, I've got to mention, the fixtures here were ridiculous. Look how close all these fixtures are between each other. Tuesday, Saturday, and then a Monday of the same week. I guess it's the Christmas period. That's the sort of thing you have to deal with. Anyways, we drew 1-1 with Clitheroe. Johnny Margot's getting a goal for Clitheroe before we equalised through George Thomas. We were kind of suffering a little bit with the conditioning. As you can see, we've got a couple of fringe players, like Ollie Ford making another appearance for the team. He's been on the fringes of the first team squad, but primarily been playing in the youth team. But he did get a game at the first team level at this particular match. We somehow managed to get a point out of this one. Based on the stats, we kind of deserve to get a point out of that, so I'll take that considering the circumstances. And we then went on to win 4-0 at home against Tamworth. And I remember, again, another team that beat us earlier on in the season 1-0 away from home. We then smashed them 4-0. They've kind of fallen off the wagon as well in terms of the playoffs. They had a really good start, and they've now faded, and I think are closer to the relegation zone than they are to the playoffs. So it's been a bit of a shocking run of form there. As you can see, 4 goals within 58 minutes. George Newell, Sam Joel, and Jake Williams all scoring in the first half. Kuyar scoring from the penalty spot. And we just completely battered them and deserved to win the game. Really good performance, and we won 4-0. We then followed that up with a 2-0 victory at home to Workington in the FA Trophy second round. So we managed to exceed the board's expectations in this cup competition again. And we've also got a nice tie in the third round as well. So it looks like we might be able to get to, I think it's the quarterfinals after the third round, but I'm not 100% sure on that front. I'll have to check that out in a minute. Thomas and Lyle Taylor scoring again. So those two guys have been scoring the majority of our goals in the span we've been on in the unbeaten run that we've been on since you were last with us. And then finally we won 2-1 at home against Offerton. I recently just said Taylor and Thomas were scoring a lot of goals. Neither of them actually scored in this game. Terrell Thomas scoring in the 19th minute for Justin May adding a second. Neil Briggs adding a consolation goal in the 92nd minute. Alfred Davidson unfortunately picked up an injury during the match, 85 minutes. So that was a bit of an annoyance. I don't think it's that big of an injury though. If we have a quick look at him, actually he's fully fit, so that's fantastic. I think it was because of the fact that he was actually going to be out for a game, next game coming up, but that game actually got postponed. So the next game that we've got coming up is the Kidderminster game. So fortunately for that, meant that Davidson was going to be back and fully healthy for the next available game, which is fantastic. And before we take you into the Kidderminster home game, which is actually our 4th home game in a row, let's take you through what the league table looks like. As you can see, we're currently sitting in 3rd place, 4 points at the top of the league with Boston in front. 1 point behind the team that beat us in the last episode, Rugby, but also having a game in hand, so we have an opportunity to move up into 2nd place. We also got an 8-point gap between ourselves and 6th place Southport. We all know that sort of gap can evaporate at any moment, as we saw last season. We very nearly bottled our opportunity to be in the playoffs. But quickly, also, I'm going to have a quick check on the FA Trophy. As you can see, we're playing Peterborough North Star in the 3rd round, and I think, yes, this is the last 16. So if we get through this match, we are in the quarterfinals again, which will be fantastic. We'll only be 1 round away from this round we managed to get to last year, where we ended up unfortunately losing in the semi-final. But the cup is not what we're going to be focusing on today. It is the league, as you can see, home to Kidderminster. Let's have a quick look and see. Rugby are actually playing Boston, so that's a massive game at the top of the table. Let's see who's going to end up slipping up in that match. Ideally, we'll hope for a draw between the 2 teams, such that we can close the gap and overtake also, Rugby. Got a poor pitch, unfortunately, and as you can see, we're probably going to have a curse here, but we've won the last 3 times we've played against Kidderminster. That's probably going to mean we're going to lose today, but fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Here's the team that we're going to go for today. Ryan Schofield is in goal, with Taylor, Lovell, Thomas and Williams at the back 4. Kuyar and Davidson in the midfield, Joel and May on the wings, with Taylor and Thomas up front. So on the bench we've got Bills, Mackenzie. Smile is going to be the man. Has been the man that's been stepping in since Adrian Morford's injury, and he's going to be the man that has to come in case any of the midfielders are looking a little bit tired. And then we've got Luca Kerville also on the bench, along with George Newell. So without further ado, let us get into the match. We're focusing on attacking movement in this particular game, mainly because I think Kidderminster have been on a bad run of form. I didn't check their form actually before we got into the match. We are favourites for this game, but favourites go out the window, especially at this sort of level, as I've mentioned on many occasions. Let's quickly do the team instructions. Alright, I'm ready to go. Let's get into the team talk and see what we can do from this match. Let's go and say this to see if we can get some motivation. A couple of players looking motivated, which is always good to see, and a couple of players looking happy after the team positional team talks, which is good. The 2 strikers not reacting there, but they're listening keenly, so fingers crossed they can have their small little blip that they've had in the goal scoring chart, so they didn't score in the last game. That's what I'm just saying from that. But as you can see, they've got a combined 31 goals between them, so fingers crossed they can add to that tally. 11 assists also between the 2, which has been fantastic to see. So as long as they can add to that tally and continue our run of form overall, we can hopefully get this victory today. As Bay gets the ball into the going into the Kidderminster penalty area, but that's the end of the first highlight. Okay, we've got a corner coming in from Kidderminster. Joel manages to clear it away though, and Lovell's now going to be on the ball. He's he's the furthest player forward. And here's Thomas on this left hand side though. He's coming inside, takes a shot, and it's just wide of the mark. Taking the shot just outside the box there. First highlight of the game goes to us. Unfortunately, we weren't able to take advantage of it for now. Although we've got a corner coming in from Kuyar in towards Thomas, but it's cleared away by the Kidderminster defence. Kuyar's managed to win it back though from Millichamp, who's out of position at the some reason he's in the left back position when he's playing right back. I thought there was going to be a little bit of confusion between the centre back and the keeper there, but Escott manages to keep it and he clears it upfield up towards the Kidderminster strike force. Walters is now on the ball in the midfield as we Schofield unfortunately has missed it though, and he's had a complete howler, and Andre Brown has gone and scored his 14th of the season. That is a really poor mistake at one of the worst possible times. I would expect Schofield to get that, but I guess that means he's human. That's his only real mistake he's made all season. Okay, here is the highlight here. Walters playing a ball towards Brown. Schofield looks like he's got it, but he just completely misjudges it. I think maybe it must have been a bobble or something on the pitch, and Brown is able to slot it away into the empty net. Disappointing there. That, as I mentioned before, it was one of the probably the only major mistake that Schofield's ever made so far in his Histon career. Still got an average rating of 6.8 though, which is interesting considering the fact that he was kind of at fault for that. But if there was a bobble, then slightly, I'm going to slightly forgive him for that, but we haven't really created anything since then, though, as we head up towards half-time. Okay, it's half-time now, and we haven't created anything since that game, since that opening chance, and also that crazy freak goal that we conceded. As you can see, the defence isn't doing that well. 6.3, so should level, and Thomas. Also, the strike force not doing too well, so we're going to tell them off, see if we can get some energy into this team and try and get back into this game. I don't want this streak to end up going again like it did in the last episode. I've got to stop shutting up. I've got to shut up about us being unbeaten against teams before we go into live comms, because that's the curse of the commentator right there. Anyways, we've got a free kick coming in towards the Kidderminster strike force, but Schofield this time is able to hold on to the ball, and he will probably clear it upfield up towards Thomas, who unfortunately isn't able to win it, but Williams is now on the ball. Might play it forward. He actually plays it to the left to May, back into Davidson inside the middle. Here's Thompson. Oh, Thomas, I thought he was going to get to that, but it's again cleared away by the Kidderminster defence. But we've managed to win it back just inside their half. Kuyar's now on the ball, out towards Williams. A little bit of space on the left-hand side, but he's closed down. Ball in towards Thomas, though, and there is the equaliser. George Thomas is his 15th goal of the season. That was an important goal, and as you can see at the top right now, we are still 3 points back on the two teams, but it looks like Rugby have taking the lead against Boston somewhere. But so if we get that, if we get this winner, get a winning goal here, we'll only be 1 point off the top as it stands. But we've got to get that winning goal first, as we've got another instant highlight here. That here's Thomas on this left-hand side, he's breaking away in towards the Kidderminster penalty area here. Takes it past the defender, but Escott in the Kidderminster goal is able to save from Thomas and deny him his second of the game. As Kuyar now whips in the ball in towards the box, it's cleared away though. Joel plays it back out, but unfortunately the pass is overhit, and that goes out of play for a goal kick. A good spell of play from us so far at the start of this second half. Okay, I've got another highlight here. I was about to make a substitution, but Escott clears the ball up towards Brown. Thomas heads it down, but now Kidderminster are on the ball again, on the attack here with Brown is right inside the guy who scored for Kidderminster. Ball in towards Disarure, I think that's how you pronounce it. But Schofield again is able to get in front of the man and claim it for himself. He's now going to kick it up towards the strike force. Thomas trying to win the header over Williamson, but is unable to do so. We win it back again well, though, just inside the Kidderminster half. Thomas back up to Kuyar. Maybe to look to the right-hand side, unfortunately not. Davidson then looks for Williams, who might cross it into May. Plays it into Taylor, and it's straight at the keeper. And unfortunately, we're unable to get the winner again. Taylor, that could have been a really good, important goal there. But unfortunately, we're unable to find our way through. We're actually going to make a substitution now. Going to take off Kuyar for Josh Smile. And I'm also considering taking off either Lyle Taylor or Justin May because of their average ratings at this moment. But I'm going to keep it as it is for now, and then we'll make the changes as we head towards the last 15 minutes or so. Oh, it's 1-1 between Rugby and Boston now, as we're now going to make those other two changes that I mentioned earlier on. We're going to take off Justin May for Luca Coville, and Taylor's going to come off for George Newell. So let's see if we can grab a winner here with 17 minutes on the clock. I am definitely going for this because of the fact that we could get ourselves back in front of Rugby here in the league table. Okay, we've got a corner in from Taylor, in towards Smile. It's cleared away, unfortunately, though. It looks like Kidderminster might be on the break here with Eckhart, a substitute for the Harriers. Here's Carter, plays it back to Escott, who will clear it upfield. Sweeney's managed to get the ball in a nice bit of space there. Here's Crowsdale playing it up towards Brown, who scored earlier. He's going to score again. He has done. It's 2-1 Kidderminster. Andre Brown with his 15th of the season. Really good assist from the substitute by Kidderminster, but that's poor defending. We should have really cut that out before any of that could have happened. Crowsdale with a nice ball. Where is the defence? We were just nowhere near on him. We should have tried to play offside, and Brown was just not gonna miss that. And it's now 2-1 Kidderminster here. We're gonna have to just go on overload here and hope for the best. Terrell Thomas not having a great game and a 6.2. He might be dropped for the next match just to get him, just to give him a little kick up the backside to say, hang on a minute, you can't assume you're going to be in the starting 11. The same with Shane Lovell on a 6.4 as we come up towards the end of the game. Looks like it's going to be another one of our unbeaten streaks against one of the our teams that we mentioned earlier on in the episode is going to come to an end. We're going to lose this game 2-1. Really disappointing result here after we did so well to get back into the game, and we just didn't take the chances that came to us to get us in front. And then just one mistake at the back after committing too many players forward, and Brown punishes us. So that's a really, really annoying result again. I don't know when's the last time you guys actually saw me win in the I think that's at least two straight episodes that you haven't seen me win a match, which is frustrating. Actually, no, I think it's 3 consecutive, because I think the you didn't see me win against Hereford or Torquay in the FA Cup or the league, so it's at least 3 consecutive games that you haven't seen me win a match. So I've got to try and get the off-camera magic back going again, and try and start that off with an away victory against Boreham Wood, and then hopefully we can advance in the FA Trophy. But it's been a disappointing day at the office again. Okay, in terms of what game to do next, we're probably going to go all the way up to this Barwell game at home in the middle of March, and then we'll try and wrap up the season with Braintree away. So get another good chunk of the season done, Braintree away, and then we're probably going to end up doing the playoffs straight after that. But that's the end of the episode. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get the positive results there, and that goes another unbeaten streak again. Really frustrating. After being unbeaten in 7 games in all competitions, we just lose that in a live comp against Kidderminster, a team that's just outside the playoffs, and that means our gap between ourselves and the playoffs the teams trying to get into the playoffs has gone down, I think. But yeah, we're just gonna have to move on from that. Try and get a positive result against Boreham Wood, and also the likes of Peterborough North Star in the FA Trophy, and also Gainsborough are currently sitting in 4th place just behind us. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode despite the result. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all for the next episode, which will be the home match against Barwell. So until then, see you later.